Okay, so today we are going to start with uh, the the continuation of the production possibility curve. We studied about what PPC is, its assumptions, and the difference between the constant and increasing opportunity cost. And we also identified the points on the production possibility curve.
Yes, sir.
So there was one point which was ahead of the production possibility curve. That is
Yes, sir.
one of the important points that we have to discuss, right? So
Yes, sir.
that is very important point. Okay, so what we will be doing is that we are going to start with that point. So if the point which is beyond the production possibility curve, can we achieve that point?
No, it's unattainable, unachievable.
But if we want to achieve it, what should we do? Can we do that?
Yes, sir. If, like, for example, you want to, obviously, if you'll shift the TPC to the right, for example, for that you would need to increase production, and for that you would need to get more raw materials, like by maybe importing from somewhere,
Mhm.
or just maybe increasing, like, for example, mining and activities like that to get more raw materials.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, okay, let's just talk about this. The shift in the production possibility curve. So there are two types of shifts that we will be looking at here. So one is considered to be as a rightward or outward shift. And the other one is considered as a
Leftward or inward shift.
leftward or inward shift. Okay. So if we look at this production possibility curve where we have product A and product B and the origin. Okay, here we have one production possibility curve. Okay, this is one PPC,
Yes,
the
sir.
original PPC, and here
Yes.
we have another production possibility curve. Okay, so these are considered to be as PPC1, the original production possibility.
Yes, sir.
So a rightward shift means that the PPC moves towards
So right.
right, right. So it's shifted towards right. So movement would consider to be on the same production possibility curve. So
Yes, sir.
this is considered to be as PPC2 and it can be considered as rightward shift, right?
Yes, sir.
Whereas here we can see that there is a
Leftward shift.
leftward shift. Exactly. So production possibility curve 2, that is a leftward shift. Okay. So these are the two types of shifts that you can see.
Yes, sir.
Seems to be a bit more outward. I'm just going to just put a bit in. Okay. Now it's better. Okay. So these are the two types. We are not discussing here right now what is the reason for this rightward of leftward shift, right? We'll do
Yes,
that
sir.
later on. Now, there is a note that I want to add here.
Yes, sir.
That these shifts that we are talking about,
Yes, sir.
may or may not be parallel. Right now, these considered to be as parallel shifts that we have made.
Yes, sir.
So when a shift would be considered parallel, can you tell me that?
If maybe wait, I don't really know how to say it.
Haven't studied this?
No, sir.
No problem. So shift is parallel when change in, because these shifts are because of the changes in the quantity and quality of factor of production. We should at least write this here,
Okay,
that
sir.
shifts occur due to changes in quantity or quality of factors of production.
Yes, sir.
Sure. Okay, these shifts may or may not be parallel. Shift is parallel when change in the quantity or quality of resource or products or factors of production
Yes, sir.
is equally suitable. If it is
Oh,
equally suitable, so it means that it is right word shift,
yes, sir.
or problematic when there is a leftward shift for
Yes,
both words. So equally suited, the change,
yes, sir.
then it is going to shift towards right or shift towards left in a parallel mode, right?
Yes, sir.
So you understand this concept.
Yes, sir.
So for the rightward shift and for the leftward shift. Now we talk about the pivotal shift. A, B, out. The change in quantity and quality of resources affects only one good
Oh, yes, sir.
or affected one good more than the other.
Okay, sir.
So there will be a pivot. Let's
Yeah.
suppose we were at this point and we moved to this point. So the resources which have increased in terms of the quantity or the quality were more suited for the production of good B than good A,
Yes, sir.
right? This is PPC2, this is PPC. You understand this concept.
Yes, sir.
According to the figure, the increase in quantity or the quality of resource was more well suited
To be. Could be.
Yes, for the production of good B, then for good A. Got that?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now we have, talked about these that the shift is going to occur because of the changes in
Yes,
the
sir.
quantity or the quality of the factors of production. So we are going to talk about it in a bit of more detail. That if we say that there are changes in the quantity of factors of production. So
Yes, sir.
we are going to, make a table here to discuss this. I hope this space should be enough for making this table. Okay. So factors of production here,
Yes, sir.
then the factors resulting in rightward shift
Yes,
in
sir.
PPC and factors resulting in leftward shift in PPC. So the first one that we are going to consider is, let's suppose, land.
Yes, sir.
Any factor that you can think of will result in a rightward shift in the quantity of land.
Quantity of land. Sir, I think it's like if you maybe from other uses of the business, you divert your machinery towards maybe
Mm.
mining, or if you like start more farming,
That is the
more
capital.
efficient way. But then won't it be like increase if you start maybe using those machineries to farm more? Because then you will get like more output from that same.
But that land is already available to you. How does it increases? Yeah, you can say that if that land was barren
Yes, sir.
and you started irrigation of that on that land.
Yes, sir.
So that irrigation of if you meant that, then it is fine. The irrigation of that barren land.
Yes,
Let's
sir.
suppose if there is irrigation of barren land. What else? It's
Um.
like tapping the unused resource.
Yes, sir. Won't it also count if you maybe buy another piece of land from someone?
But that land is already available to you.
Oh, right. Okay.
In an economy, that land is available.
Yes, sir. Then,
Discovery,
oh, yes, sir.
isn't it?
Yes, sir. Maybe of new minerals or new, um, any new resource actually. It's land.
Yes. So that is going to increase the quantity of land
Yes.
for you. What about the reasons for a leftward shift?
So I'm not sure, but if it's maybe like, say, will will weather affect it? Like, um, maybe if,
Could
for
be,
example,
could be.
if your business like grows crops and stuff, and if bad weather conditions, your resources, the quantity will decrease. Even quality will decrease actually. If there's bad weather.
Yes, both can occur because of that. So we
Yes, sir.
can simply write it as a natural disaster.
Yes, sir.
So we'll write it as natural disaster. And if there is, if you are continuously utilizing your resources, so
Yes.
there is a depletion of the natural resource,
Yes, sir.
the non-renewable.
Yes, the non-limited.
Depletion of non-renewable resource. Okay, great. Then about the labor,
Yes, sir.
yes. Can the quantity of labor be increased in your country?
So I think it's if somehow the migration into your country increases, then the quantity will increase in your country. The
So
reason,
immigration is more than the emigration
yes, sir.
because you also have to consider that the people are also leaving.
Yes,
So
sir.
in net, there's net migration into the country. Net
Yes, sir.
migration, net migration into the country. So that is how your labor can increase. Okay, fine. What else?
I think another way is like sometimes in some countries it's like for example women are not allowed to work. So if somehow they
Yes.
change the
Mhm.
policy and even women are allowed to work, it will drastically increase the amount of labor, the quantity of labor.
Especially in the developing countries.
Yes, sir.
The female participating in work. So female participation. So there is, if there is a positive attitude towards the working woman, so that could increase the labor because all over the world the female population is more than the male population.
Yes, sir.
So female participation can also be added. What about if you increase the working age,
Oh, yes, sir. Then also,
the
yes.
retirement age, like?
Yes, sir. Then it will increase it.
Okay, great. On the other hand, how the labor quantity can decrease.
So if there's more immigration than immigration,
Very good. So now the emigration is more than the immigration. What else?
it can also be maybe I this is kind of related to science, but like if it's like somehow the living standards are low, and if the what is it called, the maximum age that a person can reach in that country is like decreasing, then there might
Mm.
be lesser people to work if the death rate maybe increases and stuff. I'm not sure it's correct, but like it's like
Poor health facilities can do that.
oh yes, sir.
You're right. So poor health facilities can basically result in lesser people going to work,
Yes,
right?
sir.
They are already ill most of the time, so they are out of job for a long time. So obviously the quantity is reduced in that way.
Yes, sir.
So that could basically be increased if there is, better health facilities being provided. And that could also affect their quality of work as well,
Yes, sir.
right? So this can be added to this. Then if you do the opposite of this, decreasing the retirement age,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So people will retire faster. There will be less people working. Is this what
yes.
you should?
So early retirement could be there now. Okay. Then if we talk about capital,
Okay. So maybe if you invest more in capital, higher invest.
very nice. Very nice. So more investment in capital.
Yes, sir.
What else?
Maybe if you wait, okay, so it's capital. So
What about low rate of interest? Will it affect the quantity of capital in the country
yes,
or
sir.
the investment in the
There'll be
country?
people who can like take loans to buy more amount of machinery.
But that low rate of interest will discourage the savers to save money. And if there is lesser savings, so banks will have lesser money to give as loan for the investment, isn't
Oh,
it?
yes, sir. Yeah, that's a point.
So low rate of interest will discourage people, but if you consider only from the point of view of investment, this point is correct.
Yes, sir.
If you will consider it by attaching it to the, the saving point of view, then it might not be,
Yes, sir.
right? But
Yes, sir.
overall, low rate of interest basically allows people to borrow more so that they can invest more and there is more capital. So we are going to just keep it simple here.
All right, sir.
Okay. Now, again, there's low investment, very
Mm.
easy point, and there is high rate of interest, so less people will be borrowing money
Yes, sir.
to invest in the businesses. Then comes the last point, that is the enterprise.
So an enterprise is basically talking about the entire business, right? So,
Yes.
um, I don't know if this point is correct, but it's like if maybe the economy that an enterprise is in, maybe it goes into a recession, then that can drastically decrease like the supply that a business would produce because it's like um
Mhm.
the producers are they will be in a loss if they increase their production in a economy where the consumers can't even pay higher
So
price.
this point can, this point that you have made can come here in a deteriorating economy.
Yes,
There
sir.
will be lesser people ready to invest and start their businesses.
Oh, okay, sir.
So in a deteriorating economy, this can happen,
Okay, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
So in a deteriorating economy, the problem could be that you are facing is this, that you are unable to basically do the business, not because that you do not want to do it, it's just because that the economy does not provide you a suitable situation that you should put your money into the investment purposes to produce goods and services, because already there are a lot of people who are unemployed and they are
Yes, sir.
not ready to do the business. So how can you invest in such an economy,
Yes, sir.
right? So people are not ready to buy the goods and services, so who is going to buy your goods?
Exactly. Yeah.
So another point for the left word then. What about lack of government support?
Oh, yes, sir.
What will happen because if there is lack of government support?
So, for example, it's like a government usually provides subsidies for
Mhm.
a business that's for the supply. So it's like if in a time of recession, let's say, a government like stops providing subsidies for that business can very much fail if they themselves don't have those funds to increase their supply.
Exactly. Exactly. So that is going to be very bad for the economy, that the government is not supporting the businesses and that the businesses always need their support, specifically if we talk about the startup businesses,
Yes,
right?
sir.
So we can say lack of government support.
Yes, sir.
Whereas if there is government which is supporting the startups,
Yes, sir.
that will cause a rightward shift.
Yes, sir.
And secondly, another point to it is that if there are more business opportunities provided in the country,
Yes, sir.
like it's not a deteriorating country, so it's flourishing, so you have more business opportunities there. Okay, I have to draw a line here, so for that I need. More space. Okay. So I'm going to just put it into a table form.
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is about the land, then the labor, then the capital, and then the enterprise. Once you're done with this, let me know, then we'll move forward to the next part.
Done writing, sir.
Great. Changes in the quality of factors of production. Here we are going to talk about more about the increase in the quality of the factors, but that will basically make you understand the whole topic. So we do not need to go into the depth of the right and the left version. So factors
All
of
right, sir.
production are going to be here, and the quality factors that we are going to discuss are going to be here. So first of all, if we talk about land,
The quality. So I think it's like basically. Wait, no, I'm gonna say the wrong point again. I keep linking the capital with it because in my mind it's like if they use maybe like tractors to maybe like
Mhm.
farm, it can increase the quality of the crops that you get because it's not like hand picked. Because
Yes, yes,
yeah,
that is right. That is right. Modern farming techniques that we can talk about.
yes, sir.
That, because that is linked to the land, that modern farming techniques make it easier to use the land, right?
Yes, sir.
So, modern farming techniques, use of fertilizers and pesticides.
Oh, yes, sir.
This is all geography, and this is, I hate geography.
Me too, sir.
Ah, right. It's so use of fertilizers and pesticides and better land management. Can you explain this point? Better land management.
So there are some I'm gonna say like from a science type of perspective, it's like basically if you want like good quality or like of crops, you cannot use one part of the land again and again and again because that
Hmm.
can reduce the growth of the crop which is in that place. So you can increase that land, improve that land management by maybe like spreading out the plants, and in one area you should like try to change the types of plants that you're growing. If you keep growing one plant in the same place again and again, it can like decrease the what is it called? The growth rate of the plants.
Great. And one more thing. If you want to manage a place, you need to,
Yes, sir.
you need to divide it. You have to
Yes, sir.
delegate the power sometimes. You have to divide it into different sections. And if it is a big land not being divided and not being controlled by smaller managers, so it will become really difficult for a single manager to basically manage a larger land. So
Yes, sir.
sometimes for better land management, what the governments can do is that they can divide the land into smaller pieces,
Oh, okay, okay, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Then the second point that we have is the labor, quality of labor.
I think it's like if you, as a manager, you kind of focus on the needs of your employees. Like, for example, if they want like better working conditions, and if you succeed in giving that to them, they can be more motivated, which can increase their productivity to produce goods, and that
Mhm.
can basically it's like the quality of labor will increase because they are motivated enough to produce better products.
Right. So motivators can include the financial and non-financial
Yes.
benefits that you are providing to them. Secondly, how about the training and education?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, yeah.
So training and education can also do the same thing. Both are very important. You know, in motivation, when we are talking about the non-financial benefits, there, if we talk about that health facilities provided to worker, it's
Yes,
not
sir.
only improve the quantity, it's not only improve the, you know, the presence of the worker in like he's coming to work more often and there is
Yes, sir.
less absenteeism. But apart from that, there is another thing is that when he will be healthy, fit, he will be able to produce more. He will be more efficient.
Yes,
He
sir.
will not be lazy, right?
Yes, sir.
Then what about the capital? How can we improve the capital?
So I think it's like if the capital of yours after a while, like if you keep using this machinery for a long time
Mm,
without any like without repairs, without trying to like change maybe some parts of it, it can become either slower or the quality of the products that it produces can become um like
mm,
bad. So you should try to like if there's any worn out technology, you should try to invest a little bit more in it so that you can repair it so that there's yeah, replacement, that's the word, that's the correct word,
hmm.
replacement.
So, and replacement plus incorporating more of the modern machinery,
Oh
or
yes, sir.
modifying your older machinery so that it can work better in terms of
Yes,
the quality that it provides. And it is also going to affect the quantity as well, no? So
yes,
there will
sir.
be more quantity being produced. So then if we talk about the enterprise, quality of the enterprise.
Quality of the enterprise, I think it's like um I'm not sure, but I think it also matters basically the way that it's like getting managed. If it's an organized workforce, and then if it's like maybe the way that it's managed, like for example, the leadership style, like maybe that can also affect the quality because that will also, the enterprise itself is going to affect all the other factors of production. So it's like you need to have maybe a good like base for,
Okay, think from a point of view of an entrepreneur, that how an entrepreneur or a businessman's quality can improve. Like if you are discussing into the depth of the autocratic or more of the, you know, the democratic sort of a system that he should go for, all these issues comes later on, but first thing comes is how he is going to understand all of it.
right. I
That
think,
is through the training, isn't it?
oh yes, sir, yeah, yeah. Training.
At the way we have the training for the workers, in the same way we can have the training courses for how to become an entrepreneur.
Yes, sir.
So that can, you know, mainly affect this portion, the training courses
All right, sir.
for becoming entrepreneur. Okay, so again, putting it into a table, which is a very difficult task for me. I made a mistake there. Okay, no problem. Okay, so I guess this is it about the changes in the quality of the factory production. Any point that you are missing out on this, or anything that you haven't understood?
No, sir.
Everything clear? Any
Yes, sir.
questions till now?
No, sir.
Okay, great. So now we will be moving on to the reallocation of resources.
Yes, sir.
So this is a very easy topic. Here we are discussing switching factors of production
Yes, sir.
from production of one product to another. For example, moving from, the primary to secondary or tertiary.
Yes, sir.
Usually secondary because they can't be a big jump, not,
Yes, sir.
uh, feasible sort of a jump that you can think of, not too practical. Second is moving from making the consumer goods
To the capital goods.
to the capital goods. Okay, so if we move from primary to secondary,
Yes, sir.
how this change, how this change can occur, and is it going to, how it is going to affect the economy overall?
So basically, if we're using factors, if you're like moving them from primary to secondary, it's going to be like instead of the labor now maybe mining for resources, there will be now in factories making the finished product. So I think this
Mm,
can, if you talk about the economy, it can increase the national income of an economy because it will increase the supply. It will increase the production of a business. And then if you talk
mm,
about from a business perspective, it's like they will, for them, the productivity will increase. And in turn, if that increases their sales, it can also increase their profit. In So this is basically like a whole cycle. And then it also, if you talk about like land, if you move land from primary, for example, for from growing crops to secondary, it's like maybe you build a factory on that land to that can also increase production. But I think there's also like a disadvantage because it can affect the amount of resources that there is. There can be a depletion if there's more secondary because obviously you can't have secondary sector without the primary sector. So it's like
mm,
it can affect it, but I think there's mostly benefits. But one of the disadvantages is that there can be a depletion of natural resources.
mm. Okay, one more thing here, apart from this, which economies do you think are considered to be working more in a primary sector, and then economies more in secondary and economies more in tertiary?
So in primary, it's mostly the ones which are either underdeveloped or they're still developing. And in
Okay.
secondary, it's the developed economies. And tertiary also, it's like the developed economies. But I think primary, there's underdeveloped or developed, yeah. Underdeveloped or developed.
Usually in primary, we consider the underdeveloped economies,
Yes,
right?
yes. Yeah, yeah.
And in secondary, we consider the developing
Developing.
economies. And in the tertiary, we consider the developed economies.
Yes, sir.
So, although countries like Pakistan considered to be as more developing, but again, the point is that this is something which is, there are countries who have changed this perspective of being secondary, being dealing in the secondary sector, like
Yes, sir.
countries like India and China. The way they have done the production over the years, over the decades, they are now more considered to be as the emerging economies of the world.
Yes, sir.
moving more towards even the tertiary sector. And the developed economies, they are basically dealing in the tertiary sector more. So how
Yes.
come they, cope up with that primary sector? What do they do about that if they are more invested in the tertiary sector, like the developed countries?
So it's like if they're going to be more invested in that, obviously there will be lesser like resources, for example, from land and like
Hmm.
yeah, that's my biggest example right now, land. I'm not sure, but I think that these economies are more they depend more on international trade maybe for
Exactly.
for resources for export and imports.
Hmm. Because most of the revenue that they generate, it's not like that they are not supporting their primary sector.
Yes, sir.
US spends millions of dollars on their
Yes,
primary sector every year. It's not like that they are not spending. It's just that it is, they consider that what is more suitable to them
yes,
to
sir.
use all of the resources and the labor and to work in a sector which is not more profitable. So rather
Yes,
than what they can do is that if their currency allows them that they have a good currency and they can, exchange it with another currency to buy from their country, like the developing countries. So it is far more feasible for them to do that.
yes, sir.
Secondly, it also depends on the fact that are the facilities or the the environment of the productivity is available to them or not.
Yes,
Whether it
sir.
is considered in terms of the weather conditions, whether it
Yes, sir.
considered in terms of the fertile land that they have. So it is, sometimes that is also the reason that they are not into that.
Yes, sir.
So that is very important. Okay. So now I would like to move on to the last part of this chapter, and we are done with this chapter.
Okay, sir.
The consequences of a rightward shift and a leftward shift in the production possibility curve. I'm going to
Okay.
do it here. Consequences for economy of rightward shift. Yes.
If there's a rightward shift, the first thing is that it can increase the productive capacity. Actually, no, it's the same thing. PPC and productive capacity is the same thing. But it's like if there's a rightward shift, it basically means that um there's like if it's not a pivotal shift, it's like it's better suited to both products.
Mm,
It can increase maybe the national income, or it can also increase the living standards for the people in the economy because they're having um,
mm,
an increase in the output of both goods. So it can increase living standards, and also second, if there's like output is increasing, some firms can like they need extra labor, so it can increase employment as well.
yes. Very good. So output increasing, the employment level increasing, the profits overall increasing,
Yes, sir.
and the tax revenue for the government is
Oh,
increasing.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But what is something that they are giving up on? Any
Sir, it's
drawback
like
to this?
I think maybe it's like in if you see an increasing opportunity cost PPC, it's that they will be sacrificing maybe more like one good to increase the production of the other good, right? Or they can also be like again, they can be a depletion of natural resources if they're increasing output so much, which
Hmm.
can leave less of it for other firms, other sectors in an economy.
But that sometimes is the depletion of resource. It's like you have increased the number of products that you have produced is through the discovery of the new natural resources. Probably that's your efficiency.
Yes, sir.
There's one concept that I will, although it comes in the macroeconomics, but we are talking about this topic here, so we should discuss it here.
Yes, sir.
That if employment level overall in the country will increase, they have more people have more income, and as you said, that their
Oh,
living
yeah, yeah.
standard is improving.
Yes,
So
sir.
they will probably be, demanding more goods,
Yes, sir. Okay, yeah, yeah.
which will result in what?
It will be for the firms. It will result in increase. They will be able to increase their supply. They'll have increased profits, and then for the consumers, it can increase their living standards. It can increase their what was it? What was that word?
But
Um,
if the living standards are improving, all of it is going fine.
yes,
When I
sir.
said that the demand is increasing, if the supply is not increasing that much as there is more demand,
Yes, sir.
so what will happen in that situation? What about the prices of the goods?
The prices of the goods will become higher because the demand is more than the supply.
Exactly, exactly. So higher aggregate demand might lead to inflation,
Oh, yes, sir.
right? So this
Yes,
could
sir.
be, one of the drawbacks to this.
Yes,
Now
sir.
we are going to talk all about the leftward shift. So how the economy is going to be affected by the leftward shift. The
So the
opposite to all of the
thing,
points
yes,
that we have
yeah, the output is
talked
going to
about.
decrease, employment is going to decrease, profits are going to decrease, and tax revenue will decrease, which will and then another thing that can decrease is that there will be less demand for actually no, yeah, there can be less demand, which can um cause people to like not
Which can
spend.
resolve your issue of inflation, but isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing.
Because
Like,
people are not demanding goods, so lower demand means that inflation can reduce. But there is a high line that there needs to be defined. I tell you that when aggregate demand is going to go down, so there will be lesser inflation, which is seems to be good, but
yes, sir.
might not always. Why?
Yes, sir. Because it's like for if you see from the supplier's perspective, like the producer's perspective, if maybe it becomes like deflation, for example, like inflation is that low, like maybe it becomes deflation. It's going to be like they will be barely getting profits, and it might get to a point where they will not be able to produce anymore, and so it can result in like a firm failure. And obviously, if there's lesser like firms, there's going to be lesser national income, then there will be lesser goods which can be provided to the consumers, and then that can again in turn decrease living standards, and then it can decrease maybe the economic position of an economy. So it's like there'll be a lot of effects actually.
So all of these effects will lead you towards one thing, which is very harmful for any economy. Lesser demand, lesser output, lower employment level in the country, lower taxation being generated, more burden on the government. Everything is there. So
Yes, sir.
government is not even able to produce the goods because they do not have enough of the tax revenue. So the
Yes.
overall, it will lead up to one thing. And what is that?
I think maybe a recession.
Yes.
Oh, okay, recession.
People say that inflation is bad for the economy.
Yes,
If
sir.
it is, if it's a slower rate of inflation,
Yes,
it
sir.
is beneficial. Why? Because the producer will always be encouraged to produce more because he will see that the price of the product that he's selling is increasing. So he will be motivated enough to produce more.
Yes, sir.
But deflation, not being, caught at the time when it is happening and not resolved at the time, it will result in recession. And if you consider, we were discussing that Great Depression and economic crisis of 2008, global economic crisis. So
Yes, sir.
in both these situations, the aggregate demand was the major problem.
Yes, sir.
Lower aggregate demand left people with nothing.
Yes, sir.
And when there is lower aggregate demand, it definitely will lead towards the recession if it is a prolonged decrease in the demand. And
Yes, sir.
in even in 1930s, Great Depression,
Yes, sir.
what went well at that time that they were brought out of, obviously they were the US policies as well. It's
Yes,
not
sir.
that they were not. But apart from the policies, what basically turned around the things for US at that time was the war itself.
Yes, sir.
How?
Hmm. Wow, that's a confusing question. Let me think about it.
Mhm.
Um, so can you repeat the question one more time?
My question is that when the aggregate demand is low
Yes, sir.
and it is prolonged, so it
Yes, sir.
can lead to recession,
Yes, sir.
right? And in
Yes.
1930s, the same thing happened that there was lower aggregate demand because massive unemployment was there.
Yes, sir.
People did not have any money to spend, so aggregate demand was low.
Yes, sir.
So, what actually happened that they got out of it? And that was basically the increase in the aggregate demand. How the aggregate demand increased at that time when everything was going down and even the government does not have money to do anything.
So I'm not sure at all about this, but I've heard, I think somewhere that it's because there was a war. So maybe to like
Yes,
produce the weapons and stuff, like they might need people.
exactly.
Right. Okay.
Bang on. The
Okay.
war itself became, a main rescue for them because there they needed weapons. The
Yes, sir.
weapon industry started producing the weapons,
Yes,
and
sir.
everybody started getting the employment, the money, the incomes revolved, and then they started demanding the other goods and services, and the economy revived out of it.
Oh, okay, okay,
Not
sir.
completely, but there were policies as well. But that was also having a major impact there at that time. So, so deflation is, is far more worse than the inflation if it is,
Yes, sir.
not controlled. Although even inflation not controlled is not good, but
Yes, sir.
it must need to be controlled.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is it for today. We are done with this chapter.
Oh, okay, okay, sir.
So,
Yes.
so here we are ending this chapter, and in the
Yes.
next class we are going to start off with the new chapter,
All right.
right?